Good morning, peoples. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Saturday Sports Update. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and thank God for you guys joining us here on the Saturday broadcast. Appreciate you so much. Remember, we would appreciate you if you are following us on social media, especially if you're on YouTube. Please, ma'am, please, sir, like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to get right to it here. As far as sports headlines, let's take a look at what happened on Thursday night in the NFL. Well, it was a little slow motion. For those of you who watched the game, you know that it was not much action in the game. It was a defensive slugfest, but got to like these Denver Broncos. The Broncos continue to roll. They are now 7-2 as they knock off a very weak Raiders squad. Final score 10-7. That's right, 10-7. Just, yeah, one of those games, guys, that, like I said, defensive struggle, 7-7 at the half. And Denver's kicked the field goal about midway through the third quarter. And that was the ball game. Let's take a look at some of the stats in this game. Geno Smith was actually knocked out of the game for a while, came back in later, but his stats have been very pedestrian. Everybody thought that him coming to the Raiders was going to be a nice move for them. He had a nice season the year before with Seattle. But yeah, Geno Smith, not so much this year. 16-26, 143 yards, interception. He was sacked by that ferocious Denver Bronco defense. Kind of brings you back to the days of, well, most of you guys watching this probably weren't even born. Back in the days, Denver in the late 70s, early 80s had a defense that was stalwart like this, led by young Mr. Jackson that comes on ESPN. You're familiar with him. But the bottom line is that they used to call it the Orange Crush because they were so potent on defense. And this Denver team, it really seems to be just like I said, 6 sacks for 29 yards, and it limited Geno Smith to, listen to this, guys, a 60.3 rating in the normal quarterback rating, and a stunning 13 in the QBR rating. Yeah, not so good. Ashton Genty, of course, they stacked up on him. 19 carries, 60 yards, only 3.2 yards a carry from the stud running back out of BYU. He had a long of 10 yards. That's it, and one touchdown. Harold Lockett also came over from Seattle. Again, this guy used to be one of the big barn burners or the big burners of receivers. He's obviously on the tail end of his career. 5 receptions, 44 yards. Brock Bowers was targeted only 3 times. I don't understand it. The one catch he did make was for 31 yards. Why you can't get a ball to a guy who is the best, probably the best tight end in the league, I don't get it. Anyway, let's look at Denver stats. Like I said, Bo Nix wasn't that much better than Geno Smith. 16-28, 150 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Same thing. The terrible quarterback rating of 27.2 and overall rating of 54.2. J.K. Dobbins, a serviceable game, 18 carries for 77 yards, along of 13. But the bottom line is that was a game that probably was Snoresville. Final score, Denver 10 and the Raiders 7. Let's my internet. Anyway, all that being said, there we go. Now I'm back. Yeah, so I keep seeing on social media all these headlines about, the shenanigans going on with Cleveland, and should they play Shadur, say not play Shadur. Look, man, I don't want to get into all of the conspiracy theories behind why he was drafted in round number 5. I'm just saying, me personally, and maybe it's me because it's in my feed, but I'm just tired of hearing about a guy that hasn't played it down in the league. I mean, seriously. I mean, do I think he's a great talent? He is. Do I think there was some shenanigans going on with the NFL? I do. But hey, man, just let it go. I mean, whenever I would wish that everybody who's a Shador Sanders fan would take the same attitude that he has. Hey, when the Lord wants me to play, I'm going to play. And hopefully when I get in there and play, I'm going to play very well. That's it. This idea that constant every week, watching for Shador, it's a bunch of nonsense. And it leads me to really believe the NFL, I mentioned this before, has really become more like the WWE. all these plots and storylines. It's the goofiest thing I've ever seen. I don't get it. Anyway, yeah, so much for that. Like I said again, and looking at the NFL overall, a lot of games this week that have importance. We're about halfway through the season now. Most teams playing either between 8 and 9 games. So, pretty soon we're going to start to have games that really impact, postseason seeding and postseason play. We got some big games coming up as far as NFC South. The Buccaneers, who lead the NFC South, play against the Patriots, who lead the AFC East. We saw the Patriots just recently with the Falcons. Falcons once again found another imaginative way to lose, and we'll talk about them in just a second. Another game to keep your eye on: Ravens and Vikings. As the Ravens try to climb back into postseason relevance. Ravens 3-5, Vikings 4-4. A huge game for the Ravens on the road. Lamar Jackson will be back in that game, so be on the lookout. That's a game to kind of keep your eye on. Another game to keep your eye on as we go around the NFL. Browns and Jets, like I mentioned, just surely because of the Shadur Sanders watch. Will Sanders get in the game if there is poor play by the rookie in front of him? That's the question. I don't even know what to say. Another big game: Rams and 49ers. 49ers, as we saw, shellacked the Falcons. Just one half game behind the Rams. They're at 6-3. Rams 6-2. Blah, 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 I can speak English. There's a hashtag coaching matters. As much as I didn't like Kyle Shanahan when he first got to Atlanta because he was kind of snarky, but you realize this guy was like that because he was really, and he is one of the preeminent coaches in the NFL. And sadly, the Falcons weren't able to find a way to retain him at least for another year, because I think if Shanahan had to come back for another year, Super Bowl fiasco notwithstanding, Falcons might have been able to get back to the Super Bowl again. Because if you remember, they narrowly lost to the Eagles on the road, and the Eagles went on to play in the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots. Anyway, all that being said, Shanahan and will be taking his 49ers against the Rams to try to get back into first place in the West. And the last big game to kind of look at here in the NFC, because we're in the NFC, Eagles-Packers. Again, a game that has significance in terms of playoff, in terms of seeding. Eagles 6-2 ahead in the Lambeau Field, where the Packers are 5-2-1. Jordan Love playing very well this year. Jalen Hurts playing very, very well this year. So that's a big game in terms of seeding for the NFL. All right, we have to talk about our Atlanta Falcons. This team just finds a way to keep on getting you stressed out. Here's a team that, I'll admit, I thought this team would have the reverse of the record they have now at this point in the season, on their way to a 10 or 11 win season. But no, instead the Falcons find themselves at 3-5, mired in continual mediocrity. If you look at this Falcons team, it is typical of what you see of a mediocre team. Just like a roller coaster ride. 1 week, they look like they're a playoff contender. Next week, look like they're the worst team in the league. It's just one of the most frustrating things to tune in and watch this team week after week. But if you go back to start the season, a very winnable game here in Atlanta, they end up, losing to Buccaneers because of missed field goals and missed opportunities. Then they go on the road. Everybody's thinking, what's going to happen? They knock off a very tough Vikings team relatively easily, 22-6. Stay on the road. They play against the Panthers. Everybody's thinking this game's a lock. They're going to get some payback. Panthers shut them out. They shut them out 30-0. Next week, you're thinking, they're in trouble again, even though the Commanders, who they were playing, did not have their star quarterback, Jaden Daniels. We were thinking, hey, the Falcons have a tendency to make even the worst quarterbacks look good. They win that game. And Michael Penix was his best game of the year. Then they go back-to-back. The next time they play after the bye, they knock off the Bills at home. You're thinking, okay, now, we got it cooking. They sacked, Josh several times in that game. I think 6 times in that game. You're thinking, we're here. They go on the road to the 49ers. 49ers totally shut them down. And then they come back home, another game they should win against the Dolphins. They get blown out. And then they do some falconing last week. They go behind a very good Patriot team. They storm back, get a touchdown, and you're thinking the extra point to tie the game and then let the chances fall where they may at the end of the game or in overtime. But no, they missed the extra point and lose the game 24-23. So the Falcons, instead of being 5-3, 3-5, and now really you're at the halfway point of the season, they immediately find themselves in a must-win game against a Colt team who's done just the opposite. The Colts have put it together 7-2 now for this Colt team overall. Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor both lead the league in their respective categories in rushing and passing. Who knew? Let's go to social media, see if we got a comment here. Yes, we do. Bernard Benjamin, what's up? On Facebook, thank you for watching. Appreciate you so much. Good morning to you as well. Good morning. God bless everybody. Like I say again, is tuned into the broadcast to watch it this morning. Yeah, like I say again, it is frustrating watching the Falcons. I just don't get it. Well, I do get it. It's what you get out of a mediocre team. The weeks where the coaches make good play calls, the players don't execute. Then the week the players seem like they're executing pretty well, you scratch your head at the bizarre play calling by the coaching staff. So what does that mean? That means that we have a mediocre team coached by a mediocre coaching staff. And you don't want to take shots at anybody. I think Raheem Morris is a nice guy. I think that all those guys on the Falcons coaching staff appear to be nice men. And maybe that's the point. Maybe we need something a little bit more irritating. You know, one of the reasons why we did not bring in Coach Mike Vrabel or Coach Belichick, or to some degree even well, he wouldn't have come here either anyway. The head coach from Michigan, I'm getting a brain lock here. Coach Harbaugh, he wouldn't have come here because he really wanted to go to San Diego, I believe. He played there for them back in the day, West Coast. You know, I shouldn't say San Diego, Los Angeles. But see, those three men would have demanded much more control of the operations of the team, and nobody wanted any part of that. Consequently, you bring a guy like Raheem Morris, like I said, of a nice man, a gentleman's gentleman, but a guy that seems to be at times like the guy coaching under Dan Quinn, a little bit over his head as far as the ability to manage a game, clock usage, right play call, monitoring his coordinators as far as what they're calling. At times, even I don't say disinterested, that's probably a bad word, but at times he just seems to be somehow disconnected from the team. All right. Before I go to a break, let's take a look at social media one more time. Bernard Benjamin says, hey, my Southwest DeKalb Panthers, that's what SWD means, take on Jonesboro in the first round of playoffs. Now, if my health will allow, if I'm not, my legs have been a little squonky lately. If my health will allow, my goal is to either tape that game for immediate replay or, in fact, spend the horrific amount of money, which is $750, which is what they charge you in the playoffs to stream a high school football game. If I can get a sponsor, $750, we'll actually live stream the game because both of those teams we're familiar with. We covered Southwest DeKalb last year a little bit, and we, of course, you guys know we always have Jonesboro Tuesday, where the fellows come on and talk about what they have going on. I think we're scheduled to have them on again. Matter of fact, this week if we can. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break. You're watching the Real Talk Sports Show Saturday Update. We'll be back with more of the show in just a minute. Hang on.
Looking for a vehicle? Come to Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We're a family-owned dealership that's been serving the Atlanta area for over 40 years, offering an unbeatable selection of new Fords, Lincolns, and pre-owned vehicles. Enjoy our exceptional customer service and great financing options tailored just for you. Visit us at 6790 Mount Zion Boulevard in Morrow, Georgia, located just 20 minutes from downtown Atlanta. Call us at 678-364-3979 or visit online at allenvigilford.net.
All right, guys, we're going to shift into some college football. From college football, the very first college football playoff rankings came out. The team that you just saw celebrating the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, unfortunately, have fallen from their lofty perch. At one point, they were ranked number 7, but a bad loss on the road. I mean, a bad loss on the road to North Carolina State has knocked them out of the playoff picture if the season was to stop today. So let's take a look here at the college football playoff rankings. Let's look at the top five first. At number one, the Ohio State Buckeyes, ranked number one, and yeah, they deserve it. They've been the dominant team so far this season. Ranked number two, a team that some people said didn't belong, but they're showing they belong this year. The Indiana Hoosiers are ranked number two. Number three, Texas A&M. Remember they spent all that money to get rid of Jimbo Fisher? Evidently, it's paid off. They're now ranked number three overall. Alabama, a team that many people, including fans, were saying, fire the coach, Coach DeBoer. Fire him. Well, you know, he got right. He went in and beat Georgia on the road. And ever since then, Alabama has been must-see TV. They're ranked number four in the college football playoffs. Speaking of Georgia, the Bulldogs, each week, continuously finding ways to win, playing like they're sleepwalking the first half and then playing like they're them dogs in the second half. Well, the bottom line, that has allowed them to only lose one game, which was Alabama, and they are ranked number five behind the Crimson Tide. At number six, the team that almost knocked off Georgia on the road, but they did not, led by the mercurial but outstanding play caller Lane Kiffin, has the Ole Miss Rebels at number five. Number six, the BYU Cougars. Number seven, the BYU Cougars. Number eight, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Now, both of those teams in the Big 12, and they will be playing today. And so the loser of that game is going to find it very difficult to get themselves back in the college football playoff rankings as far as being in the top 12. Number nine, the Ducks of Oregon, who for most of the first half of the season, they were either ranked one or two. They took a loss and they have fallen to number nine. At number 10, and I don't mean to take a shot here, but the Fighting Irish at Notre Dame at number 10. I don't know if they deserve to be at number 10. Obviously, they are a major brand. They bring a lot of eyeballs to college football. They have played pretty well, and they're number 10. Number 11, a team that was number one in the country to begin with, the Texas Longhorns. They're getting beat by Georgia. It's going to be, again, they have to pretty much win out, I think, to stay in. And right behind them, the Oklahoma Sooners are back in it, baby. Ranked number 12 overall. So, again, if the season was to end today, those are your top 12 teams. But keep in mind, conference champions are going to get in. Some of them have automatic buys. So even though we don't have an ACC team in the top 12, somebody from the ACC will be playing in the college football playoffs because they are a Big Five conference and one of the teams that get an automatic bye. So who, per se, would that be? Well, it's going to be out of either 14 Virginia, 15 Louisville, 17 Georgia Tech, or 18 Miami. One of those four teams will find themselves scooting into the college football playoff based on their ability to win the ACC title. So that's it right there, guys. It's like I said, it's just really, you look at college football and you say to yourself, hey, man, it's not what it used to be. And what I mean by that is I don't want to seem like an old guy, in the barbershop complaining, but the reality is that college football is becoming more and more like pro football. The amount of money that's being spent on players, and the other thing that disgusts me, the amount of money that they're paying coaches not to coach. You have coaches that are due anywhere between $10 to $50 million. I think to myself, here we are in a country where we are lagging precariously behind many other, I don't want to say civilized, what I'm looking for, but progressive nations like China, Japan, Korea. We lag behind a lot of these countries in terms of our youth, in terms of our students, in terms of their ability to achieve, especially in the world of tech. So why on earth are we spending, probably cumulatively over $100 million, maybe even more, maybe $250 million being spent by colleges around our country to pay people not to work for them? And then you wonder why the society at a whole doesn't understand about work ethic, doesn't understand about living up to contractual duties. None of that, because you have players, coaches, schools, just, I don't want to do it anymore. and somebody pays them off, and then they're gone. There's no dedication anymore. Nobody can take anything. Schools can't wait. Oh, we got to do this right now because of pride and greed, and because you have so many boosters who, in many cases, are younger, and they have a lot of money. And no disrespect to people who have earned large sums of money in tech industries and other things, but it's not like these guys work their way to the top. A lot of these guys are and gals are blessed that they're in a season where money chases after trends. And again, technology is important. I get it. And I'm not trying to say people didn't work hard, but a lot of this is people just being blessed to be born at a time where we're willing to throw gobbles of money at anything that is creating a new trend or can be considered to be a disruptor in a particular industry. And now these people, who in many cases have not been seasoned, have really not gone through that much as far as difficulties and perseverance. Don't be wrong. I understand that people that have achieved have worked hard. Many of these people have, and some of them have worked hard for, in some cases, even for decades. But at the end of the day, it is still, you're blessed to be born at a time like this. 100 years ago, you and all your work ethic and knowledge, you wouldn't be making all this money. I'm just saying. Or if you weren't born at this particular time. So anyway, all that being said, I'm sick and tired of the greed. I'm sick and tired of the manipulation by a small group of people on the system, and also to all of the people that broadcast the games. ESPN, which is now under the Disney umbrella. Of course, that happened several years ago. Our government mysteriously can't find a way to implement laws or to enforce the laws about the ideas of creating monopolies, which is what we have in the broadcast business, especially of sports. It's another thing that disgusts me. You have to go and go into Google and find where's the game going to be played, what channel, what streaming. It's a bunch of bunk. It's just greed. And more money is being concentrated in the hands of fewer people. And that's bad, 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 bad. That's bad for sports. That's bad for politics. That's bad for business. It's bad for society as a whole. I feel my preacher cat coming on right now. And I'm sorry for this rant, but this whole thing is disgusting. This whole thing is a joke. And now it's filtering down to high school. You have, high school players, and I get it. I know players have been paid for eons, and we made it, back in my day to be some kind of nefarious legal thing. Oh, like they stole money. They didn't. The NCAA just said we can't have you paying players, and the same group of people, a little bit less influence, boosters, people who are friends of the university, would give players money. But now it's insane because the money is so large. You now have parents that are basically chasing money, not chasing education for their kids, not saying, hey, is this the best fit for my child to mature and grow as in the words of our head coach here of the Falcons, to be a good human? Nope. It's all about getting a check. And the thing about that is when you foster that type of mindset into people at early age, you make them believe that the key to life is just making money. It has nothing to do with integrity, has nothing to do about teamwork, has nothing to do about patience, perseverance. It's all about get the bag, get that money. And I'm telling you, folks, I'm telling you, nothing good is happening now, and it's going to get worse. Because pretty soon it keeps rolling downhill. Pretty soon you have middle school kids. You already have young people, 13, 14 years old, getting NIL contracts. It's going to get insane because guess what? Everybody is chasing money. And you have so many of these young people that are coming from single family homes. Well, I'm going to say it's desperate, but there's some air of that. And we have a society that is looking to quote unquote get rich quick or to get money quick all the time with very little labor. And so people are chasing ways to get the big payoffs. And I'm just telling you, nothing good in the long term going to come from that. We already see it. All right, that's enough. That's my rant. I'm sorry about ranting, but I had to do it because I'm fed up. Just fed up. Let's go to social media here. Let's go here to my man Bernard Benjamin. He said, once it's high school level hard, you can cancel higher education. That's correct. I mean, you're seeing it now. I mean, I see it because I cover high school football. I see it because I have coworkers who have kids who are playing. Hey man, it's all about the NIL. It's really not. Okay, it's really not. Because at the end of the day, with sports, what people forget is when you're using your body, whose fault? My fault? Nobody's fault. Anything happens to you, anything happens, you get injured, you're out. NIL money goes, your ability to earn that money, a pro salary, whatever, goes out the window. And oh, by the way, only a percent of a percent ever even get to the pro level at all. So it's like trying to chase the lottery. That's realities of what's going on, folks. So again, hopefully the adults in the room will be adults and start acting like that. But like I said, it's a tragedy that even our college presidents, our so-called leaders of higher education, have also succumbed to pressure from boosters and to some degree fans to chase the money. Money over everything. Not good. Hey guys, like I said, we appreciate you for logging in and checking us out today. Appreciate all those of you watching on the replay. We're very pleased that you do that because we know a lot of you guys are doing stuff on Saturday morning, so we appreciate you doing it. And again, if you're watching us on any social media platform and you have not done it already, please like our page if you're watching our page. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe. One more cool thing I'll say. Thank you very much to all of you who have already done that because we surpassed a week or two ago 2,000 subscribers and we're now heading for 2,050, or I should say we're heading for 2,100 subscribers. So thank you very much. All right, before I go, you know, you just heard my little rant and you hear me talk about the preacher. That's right. Yes, I'm a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so before I leave, I just want to implore you and encourage you, if you do not have a relationship with God through having a relationship with his son, Jesus Christ, you must. The sports is the tip of the iceberg with the greed and the chasing after stuff. In society overall, it's happening. You see it everywhere. You see the way people are being mistreated, especially poor people. You see the wars all over the place. You see people being persecuted around the world. So guess what? That means the Lord is going to return sooner rather than later. So here's the key. You have to be born again if you want to go to heaven. I don't care what anybody tells you 8, 9 roads to heaven, they're lying. One road, as this: repent of your sins, believe that Jesus Christ came here fully man, fully God, died for your sins, but more importantly, rose from the dead. And if you believe in him, two great things happen. One, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. Two, an adoptive child of God, the maker of heaven and earth. That means you can now go to God like a heavenly parent, ask him for anything that you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you die, they go to that happy place called heaven. Up, no more pandemic, no more greedy people, no more pain, no more sorrow. You never die. You never cry. You never run into that stuff that we go through on earth. And you now are living with God and all the people of love. And you avoid that nasty place called hell. Well, all the things I just mentioned are not there. Hell is, you know, people think there's hell on earth. No. Hell is fiery, it's dark, and you're caught up with all the demons and evil people that ever existed. I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, everybody. Until next time we get back together again, we say as we do each and every week, God bless you and have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and take care.